So lately, there's been this wave of chatter about people taking way more creatine than usual, not just that classic 3 to 5 grams, but 20, even 40 grams a day. And what's interesting is it's not just bodybuilders. Everyday folks are experimenting for things like memory and beating brain fog.
That totally lines up with what I've seen online people talking about mental sharpness after bumping up their creatine intake. It's almost like everyone's searching for a brain boosting edge, especially those of us juggling work, family, and let's be honest, not enough sleep.
Exactly. And I think part of the draw is that creatine used to be all about muscles and gym stuff, but now people are saying it helps them stay alert, especially during long shifts or after rough nights. I mean, I get it. If you're wiped out, anything that promises to help you function sounds pretty good.
What's wild is some of these folks swear by taking 15, 20 grams or more every day, not just for a week, but for months. And they're not even lifting weights. They're just hoping for clearer thinking or a buffer against fatigue. But I always wonder, what does the actual research say about that?
Funny you bring up the studies because, the data is honestly a bit all over the place. For muscles, we know that saturating your muscle cells doesn't take much. About 5 grams a day does the trick for most people. Anything above that, and your body just doesn't use it for extra muscle gains.
That's the thing when it comes to brain benefits. There are some small studies hinting that higher doses might improve memory or reaction time, especially in folks who don't eat much meat or who are chronically tired. Like, there was a study where people took 20 grams during sleep deprivation and actually performed better on memory tasks.
Right. But most of those studies are pretty short term, and we just don't have long term safety data. Plus, there's a difference between short boosts and doing 20, 30 grams every day for months. For mental clarity, some people say they notice a difference quickly, but it's not universal.
I've noticed that too, lots of personal stories, but not a ton of hard proof. And the experts don't totally agree either. Some, like Andrew Huberman, suggest higher doses based on body weight, but others stick to the classic 3 to 5 grams. It's a bit of a Wild West scenario right now.
What surprised me is even among the big names, AIA, Huberman, Nicola, Lyon, and Bickman, they all agree creatine is generally safe. And most people don't get enough from diet alone. But only a couple lean toward those big experimental doses.
Dr. Louisa Nicola, for example, actually recommends up to 20 grams for folks with brain injuries or neurological diseases. She shifted her view after looking at patients who needed more cognitive support. But most others, like Gabrielle Lyon and Ben Bickman, just say stick to the tried and true maintenance range unless you've got a really specific reason.
Yeah, and even Huberman, who's all about that science-based approach, only goes up to 10 grams for himself based on his weight. So there's a lot of individual experimenting, but the consensus is still don't go overboard unless you really know why you're doing it.
And honestly, that makes sense given how little we know about the long-term effects of megadosing. Sometimes more isn't always better, especially when it comes to supplements.
I've had something like this come up in the ER. People on high dose creatine freak out when their blood work flags possible kidney issues. The thing is, extra creatine breaks down into creatinine, the marker we use to check kidney function. So your labs might look bad, even if your kidneys are totally fine.
That's gotta be so stressful. Imagine heading to the hospital for something minor, then ending up admitted because your blood looks off all because of a supplement. And the alternative test, cystatin C, isn't even offered everywhere yet.
Exactly. So if anyone out there is taking creatine, especially big doses, let your doctor know before blood tests. It can save you from a lot of confusing, unnecessary workups or even hospital stays.
It's wild how such a simple supplement can complicate things behind the scenes. makes you realize how important it is to advocate for yourself and keep your healthcare team in the loop.
So after looking at all this, would I tell people to megadose creatine? Not really. For muscle, once you reach saturation, more isn't better. For brain benefits, there's some hope, but the research is spotty. Most people are better off sticking with the 3 to 5 gram range, especially as we age.
Honestly, I feel the same. If someone's super curious and wants to experiment, maybe try 10 to 20 grams short term, but definitely split it up through the day and watch for side effects. And looping in a doctor is just smart, especially if you have other health conditions or take meds.
Absolutely. And staying hydrated helps too. Big picture, mega dosing still kind of experimental territory. If you're just after healthy aging and strength, the basics are already pretty powerful.
And if anyone has tried high-dose creatine for brain fog or energy, I'd love to hear your actual experience. Sometimes real-world stories are as interesting as the research. Drop us a comment.